Magic 99.5. Steph Duran and Doug DeRocher, very happy to have a special guest with us, Jim Myers from the American Heart Association. Once again, as every year, this time of year, you're like, has it come along so fast? Giving Tuesday is right around the corner. And while it may seem self-explanatory, Giving Tuesday, I think it needs an explanation. Jim, why is this such an important event?
Steph and Doug, thanks for having us on. It's really important for the American Heart Association because without money, we can't move mountains. And we have so many mountains to move when it comes to heart disease and all the things that heart does as far as nutrition security and CPR and helping folks in rural areas. We have so many things to do, so many parts of our agenda that we need to take care of that we just need monies for.
Right. And that's why it's so important, to just donate on Giving Tuesday. But for the American Heart Association, you guys do so much. And talk about like specifically some of the programs that Giving Tuesday money goes to.
Wow. Well, a lot of it is research. I'm a survivor too, had a heart attack at 38. Have an implanted ICD pacemaker in my chest. So I have my automatic external defibrillator inside. And if it weren't for the American Heart Association, those of us who are walking around now and talking wouldn't be able to be here for our families, for our friends, that way. So a lot of it really goes toward, and $5 billion has gone toward research over the life of the American Heart Association, second only to the government. So that's why it's really important. It's still the #1 killer of men and women in the United States, and we need to continue to do something about that.
All right. Why is it so important to give on Giving Tuesday?
Well, frankly, it's the end of the year and people start thinking, how can they, do things for tax reasons and so forth. But I can't emphasize.
Whatever your motivation is, right?
whatever it is, heart disease usually affects somebody, whether it's a family member or a friend. Everybody can kind of think, oh, yeah, my aunt had so-and-so. And so it really does affect everyone. It's by far the leading killer in the United States. And in my case, I work with CPR a lot, cardiac arrest with Damar Hamlin and all that happened with him on January 2nd of this year. It just makes that much more awareness for all of us to know it doesn't matter how good a shape you're in, it can happen to anybody.
And of course, everybody who gives on Giving Tuesday, the American Heart Association receives a $1-for-dollar match up to $500,000 for any donations that are made directly to heart.org/donate, which you can go to our website, magic995.com, or your website.
All the details will be there.
Yeah, isn't that crazy? We have some amazing donors out there that just want to help out too. Yeah. And so they're ponying up, for Giving Tuesday too, to make your gift really, really count and double.
So with all the donations on Giving Tuesday that the American Heart Association is going to get, what are the needs of like our community here in New Mexico, here in Albuquerque?
Oh, gosh. There's just so many. I mentioned nutrition security, and really not only here, but throughout New Mexico, we have so many rural areas that have not only no access to nutritious food, but they have no refrigerators, they have no electricity, they have no running water. A lot of the indigenous folks around just are suffering. And you can tell with heart disease, it's just even that much more prevalent in those communities. So we get a lot of people helicoptered into Albuquerque from Gallup and that area, simply because we just don't have enough resources to them. And one of the things I think Heart does well, American Heart Association really is focusing on equity. And that's not just a nice, unicorns and rainbows kind of thing, but actually knowing that people have hearts out in rural areas and out in tribal lands, and they're just like us. Their hearts are the same way, but they just don't have the benefit of all the resources that we have in larger cities. So that's why I think, especially for us, the health equity deal is so important, because everybody does have a heart, and frankly, heart disease affects everybody. So it's just a nice mix.
Yeah, even young people, like you said yourself, you were 38. Most people always imagine that's, we're talking about older people. No, but it can happen to anybody.
Right, yeah.
I just
Jim, can I ask you, are there any specific segments of the New Mexico population that can stand to benefit the most?
Oh, gosh. And this is something I don't know if I can answer that specifically, and I don't want to misspeak that way. But what I do know is a lot of the research that we do here in the state stays in the state with the University of New Mexico. And we know that UNM Hospital just treats all sorts of folks from all over that way. So whether they're babies and preemies with congenital heart disease, or they're folks that are in their 80s and 90s and have a heart attack or cardiac arrest, stroke is a big deal. All those monies really kind of benefit the whole gamut of the population. So it's hard to say, specifically it's going to do this and that. I think the neat thing about the American Heart Association is I think we're good stewards, frankly, of the dollars that come in, making sure that we help the people that need the help the most.
Yeah. And also just I'm not a heart patient yet, but I have stupid high blood pressure. So they have assured me that the American Heart Association will be in my life. And I really want to thank you too for all the focus on women's heart health. We always talk about, because with women, so much of it is missed,
Yeah.
I can't be having a heart attack. My jaw just hurts and my left arm, I'll be fine.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. The whole Go Red for Women movement is now 20 years old as of this next year. So we've really been pushing that for women. Women are the caregivers of our society, and we know that. And a lot of times they put it off, hey, I'm just tired. I've got 4 kids. I mean, what do you expect?
Yeah.
Just a little jaw pain, just a little back pain. I'll be fine. Let me just lie down for a minute. And it doesn't happen. Women present differently, as we say in hospital terms, than men, for the most part. I've actually had jaw pain, so it can cross over sometimes as far as what the pains are and the pressures and so forth. But women do present differently. And frankly, we lose more women to cardiac arrest because men and women don't jump on it right away. Men for sexual harassment reasons, and women just don't want to hurt any other woman.
Right.
So these studies show that women are less likely to receive CPR in an emergency situation.
That's exactly right. And for those main reasons, and studies have been done all over the world for that, and find the same results that way. So we want and keep pushing. In fact, we just came up with a womankin, if you will, instead of a mannequin. Because we need to see the anatomy and be able to not be afraid of really. And when my job is business development for CPR in the Southwest U.S., you really need to rip open a shirt. If you have an AED, take off a bra, cut off a bra, and put pads, the electrodes on the right places so they have skin contact. Otherwise, it's just not effective in really doing its job.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And to remember too, when you're doing CPR, they said a lot of times with women, they don't get enough pressure where you're supposed to push down like 2 inches, and women don't get that as much.
They can take it. They've gone through childbirth. They can take some CPR.
We're tough.
Yeah. As we say, kind of, what's a broken rib if the person's dead? It really doesn't matter that way. Yeah. So you will break ribs in some cases that way, but again, they're gone. They're absolutely gone. And the only way they're going to come back is when we say push hard and fast in the center of the chest and call 911, we mean it and do it right away. Don't hesitate. Yeah. In fact, that's why we went to hands only in 2008. We made that decision. And it's really because we can jump on the situation a lot faster. And because of that, hands only is just as effective as far as hospital releases as with breaths, we found in studies, because you're just getting to it quicker.
Right.
Jim, what kind of impact has the American Heart Association had on the health of New Mexico and New Mexicans?
Well, again, it's generalized in some way and specific in others. So in terms of devices and stents and all the things that we've done over the years to really help New Mexicans stay alive longer, amazing surgical things that go through the arm instead of the groin. As far as helping with clots and clot busting drugs and so forth. And in the schools, part of my job is to make sure that the schools, which CPR is a requirement for graduation in New Mexico. A lot of people don't know that.
That's
but it's
great.
It is a requirement. It's great, Steph, except we don't have the monies for it. That's the hard part. So that's where, again, if we can get the monies for this, we can help provide kits the schools, 131 or so different districts in New Mexico that need to be teaching this instead of showing a video that's a minute long and calling it good. And that's really what's happening in a lot of school systems.
That's not good.
Which brings us
No.
back, of course, to Giving Tuesday.
Yes.
And right now through November 30th, when
Yep.
you donate at heart.org/donate, your donation will be matched.
Dollar for dollar, up to $500,000, which means we could potentially have $1 million on Giving Tuesday.
That would be great. I mean, I wish I could see $1 million in my lifetime personally, but I don't think I will. But
You're hilarious.
I've for 20 years, I was a volunteer for our American Heart Association, just volunteer. And I tell people I was good for nothing for 20 years. And now in the last couple years, I've really been able to be on the inside. And sometimes that seems like it's a scary thing. And yet what I found is we really, truly are good stewards and make sure that every dollar that we get is spent in the right way for the right people at the right time. It really is. And so I can say without hesitation and with full confidence that any dollar that comes in, it doesn't matter how small or how large. I was at the San Antonio Heart Walk in Texas last week, and they did a quick text to give, made $30,000. It's going to help so much, even in that area. So, so please, whatever amount you can give, we will double it, or it'll be doubled for us, and we certainly appreciate it.
And remember too, all the details is also at magic995.com, a link to the American Heart Association for you if that's easier. Jim Myers, Business Development Manager, Mr. American Heart Association for New Mexico. Thank you so much for your time today. We will get the word out.
You guys are doing a great job.
Steph and Doug, thank you so much for having us, and God bless.
Anytime, you know that.
Thanks.